level technology skills and use. And I had Teresa, Fred, Keith, and Kurt in my group. Ann was there for a millisecond or two. And it really comes down in two ways to attracting high technology workers to your community, to your organization, or trying to build your tech community internally and kind of through a more long-term approach. A key part is to identify and promote the opportunities within your community so that people know that there are jobs available, that there are opportunities available in the long term. Recruiting participants, we talked a lot about kind of the K-12 and technical school communities, but mostly on the K-12. Utilizing your own experts around technology, and I think especially we came around a little bit later to the idea about job shadowing, and maybe either as individual kids being exposed to technology opportunities in their own community, or maybe even groups of kids, a technology club that once a week could go to a different technology center in their community, the hospital or to the tribe or to an individual consulting firm or wherever, so that they would see a range of opportunities there. We talked about the need to build an image as a place where there are technology jobs. The idea about the Ride the Wave group is starting to do that, and people know Dan Olson, the technology director, general manager of Wyndham Net and Southern Minnesota Broadband Service. Went home to Wisconsin, he walked into the bar and they yelled, "Hey, ride the wave," or something, from somebody who was aware of Dan's activities. And so, that a lot of people know the former president of Bemidji State, Jim Benson, and he went off to Wisconsin to scout, and he just decided he's going to be the I-94 technology corridor, and he said he knew he had arrived when some weatherman on WCCO said, "Well, it's 32 degrees in the technology coordinator or corridor in Menominee," so he knew his message was getting out there, and we just have to, I think, keep promoting that as that image. Quality of life plus technology, I think Fred talked about that as the brand that he offers there at Fond du Lac. Also need to part of that quality of life is that flexible work-home balance that maybe a more rural community can offer as opposed to a metro. A lot of discussion about the need for the different types of skills in different organizations, and the larger the IT group, maybe the more specialized people can be. And for a smaller IT organizations, that need for the more generalist, and how that impacts how to attract people. We talked about the differences in pay between a metro job and a rural job, and maybe how the lower pay in the rural area goes farther than the higher pay in the metro, and a need to really position that somehow more effectively. There's a feeling that people saw experienced workers as maybe a little better bet for trying to attract them, as opposed to just kids out of college who might think they know everything and looking for the bright lights. And we've seen some of that research out of Extension about family members 35 to 45 coming back to more rural areas and so on. Fred talked a little bit about his training regimen there at Fond du Lac, and I think that was interesting. People have to really ask and justify training, and that one of the justifications is what's in it for Fond du Lac Band. It's not just the professional reward or training for the individual, but what's in it for the organization. Then he also has his own little technology clubs. They meet once a month for a couple hours, peer training, and then reporting back what they've learned. And I think that you could do that at a community level as well. And I think that kind of ties back to that Itasca model we talked about a little bit earlier, where they pulling together their top 20 technology people and have they're going to develop their list of topics. I'm sure there'll be a lot of peer training there. So I think that peer piece is really valuable. Anything else?